Hey guys, how's it going? I am Danconia and welcome to the Overwatch World Cup Roundup. Okay, so after those qualifiers in Thailand, it's time to move on to Paris. And our last qualifiers for Blizzcon. There are 2 places remaining for that competition at Blizzcon, the Overwatch World Cup Finals. And there are 6 teams vying for those 2 places in Paris. So, these teams are France, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, Poland, and the United Kingdom. So let's go over these rosters, shall we? We will start off with the United Kingdom, as they are first on the order on the Overwatch World Cup website. The roster for the United Kingdom is Morsi on Flex, Cruz on Support, Astro, which I believe is Funny Astro on Support, probably Lucio, Daya, Kib on Offense, Jealous, Fusions on Tank, Christopher on Tank, Mikey A on Offense, Smex on Flex, Boompox on Support, and KSP on Offense. There we go. Cruz, as you might know, can also flex to a bit of Genji DPS when he wants to. A very flexible United Kingdom squad. Of those, going to Paris rather, will be Kib and Mikey A of the British Hurricane, KSP of Young and Beautiful, Smex of the NRG. Christopher is now unassigned after leaving Six Snakes. Cruz of the Toronto Esports. Boombox of the Philadelphia Fusion. The coach is Hayes from the Philadelphia Fusion as well. A strong looking United Kingdom squad, but I'm not sure whether they're the strongest in this competition. So, moving on, next up we have Germany. Germany not looking as good as they used to be, but they could cause some upsets in this competition. We have Proggy, Terenz, Genlon or Xenlon? Genlon probably. Nasi, Teles, Addy, Kodak on support, Immortal on support, Mete on tank, Nex on flex. That's a really nice rhyme. Krinks on offense and Nesh on offense. I believe I've heard of Nesh before. Going to Paris will be Nesh, who is part of the British Hurricane. That's why I've heard of him. Massey, Cranks, Met, Progy, Immortal, and Kodak. Their coach is Radio Boy from the Angry Titans. Moving on from there, we have Poland. Poland shape up like this. Danier on offense, Matwash on a flex, Red Zoik on offense. Why do people want to start their names with X? Jano on support, Dexter on tank, Dooku on support, Kobe on support, Webster on support. That's a lot of supports. All of them. That's 4 supports already. Shadow on tank, Setrox on offense, and Filion on flex. Going to Paris for Poland will be Danier and Rezoik on DPS, Flex, Matwaj, 2 tanks in Setrox and Dexter, and then 2 supports of Dooku and Jano. Don't even ask. From what I can see, none of them are actually assigned to teams right now. After that, we have the Netherlands. They are made up of Brucen on flex, A10 on flex, Sab on support, Sweeks on tank, Korn on tank, Zino on offense. The wrong name on support, love that name. Twizzbear on support, Dante, and not the Dante from San Francisco Shock, another Dante or Dante on offense, Jonah on offense, Visility on offense, and Crusade on support. Going to Paris for the Netherlands will be Jonah and Visility, and Dante or Dante on DPS, Brucen on flex, who plays 4. 1 point, Korn on tank, who plays for HSL Esports Academy, Cruiser D on support, who plays for British Hurricane, and Sab also on support, who plays for HSL Esports Academy also. Whew! I love these names sometimes. Right, moving on. Italy is up next. We have Adna on support, Hinu on flex, Luft on tank, Hearthbeat on offense, Bims on support, Carnifex on offense, Fighter on flex, Nissa on support, Midna on tank, Najini on flex, Dragon Eddie on tank, and the big one on offense. The big one, you've got to live up to your name, my friend, but you are not going to Paris. So, going to Paris will be Carniflex and Heartbeat on DPS, Dragon Eddie on Flex, Luft and Midna on the tanks, Bims and Nissa on support. Dragon Eddie, Luft and Nissa are all part of Samsung Morning Stars Blue, and Midna is part of We Have Org. Final team roster is France, arguably the best team in this group. We have Poco on Flex, Asking on offense, Closty on attack, on tank, sorry, I don't know where I got attack from, Hip on support, Shoot, Unko on support, AKM on offense, Wins on support, Soon on offense, Benbest, Nikoja on Flex, and Dridro on support. God, these names sometimes they really cause me issues. France will be taken to Paris. Well, actually, they won't be taken to Paris because they're already in Paris. Anyway, Soon, part of the LA Valiant, obviously. AKM, part of the Dallas Fuel, and Nico, who is part of Eel Gaming. There is the DPS for France. Poco, obviously part of the Philadelphia Fusion, will be their flex. Benbest will be their main tank. Unko, part of the Dallas Fuel, will be their support, and Wins will be a support. Their coach is actually Damon, who is part of the LA Valiant. So, there's some stacked rosters right there. Should be fairly interesting. I think France on paper have the best roster, but I think the United Kingdom certainly have some sleeper players. And what I mean by sleeper players is players that could quite easily be Overwatch League team players. I think Cruz could be an OWL player. I think Kib could be an OWL player. So there's some players there could really do well, but there are also some teams, like, honestly, all of these teams could cause an upset. Poland literally have no one on my screen that are assigned to any teams. So they're a complete unknown entity. They could win the whole bloody thing and surprise us and then all get picked up for a team next season now. That would have been really, really funny. And what a story that would be. Anyway, be sure, because there'll be AKM Blades in chat if you plays Genji. Soon is a fantastic player for France. Possibly the best DPS they've got. Soon has been fantastic for LA Valiant all season, and I expect him to carry that on for France in these World Cup qualifiers. Unko has also been really good for the Dallas Fuel despite their troubles, and he really did come forward later on the season for Dallas Fuel to achieve their playoff berth in Stage 4. Poco obviously has been fairly consistent for the Philadelphia Fusion all season. So also Boombox has for the United Kingdom for Fusion as well. So Boombox will have an insight into how Poco plays. It's going to be quite a showdown between the United Kingdom and France when that comes along. But the Netherlands, Germany, Italy, Poland, they're all capable of bringing up an upset. To be quite honest, two teams that I think could be dark horses are the Netherlands and Germany. But the two teams that really stand out to me right now are France and the United Kingdom. And that's not just because I'm British. Okay? It's not because I'm British. But I do think that France have the edge over all of the other teams right now. But as we saw in Thailand, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win it. I thought Sweden would win the Thailand qualifiers. They didn't even qualify. So, you don't know. And sometimes, especially the United Kingdom, can be a boom or bust team. It heavily depends on the meta. Last year in the Overwatch World Cup, they dominated their qualifiers and were unbeaten. And then they went to Blizzcon and the meta changed. We were heavily in the Mercy meta right then, and the United Kingdom didn't have a Mercy player, and they failed miserably, losing to Sweden heavily in those finals. So I think United Kingdom are a very heavily meta-based team, and especially if the meta swings towards Mercy again, which at the moment it's not looking like it is. It's swinging more towards Ana, more Lucio play, which would be good for the United Kingdom, but if it does swing towards Mercy more again, then we could see problems for them at another stage. Let's look at these fixtures though. This should be really interesting. So these will run in my time zone, which is British summer time, from 9 AM in the morning till 4 PM. So it's going to be a full day's worth of Overwatch if you want to watch it, but it is during the day, and it will take place on a Friday, the Saturday, and the Sunday. So if you work on a Friday, or you study on a Friday, oh dear. But yeah, we're there with that. Central European time, that should be 1 hour later, so you'll start at 10 AM, and the last game will start at around 5 PM. If you're in America, PDT, you're very early in the morning. You're at 1 AM starting at them in the morning and then not finishing until about 8 AM, 9 AM, 10 AM. So yeah, if you want to watch it in America, it's going to be weird start times, but it is European qualifiers, so you've got to understand that. But we are starting off with France taking on the Netherlands at 1 AM PDT on the 21st of September. That will be 8 AM, I think. Did I say that? 8 AM in the UK. I will just check that for you. 9 AM in the UK, so 10 AM in Europe. That'll be France taking on the Netherlands. This will be a big test for France to see if they are as good as I am hyping them up to be. The Netherlands could cause some issues for the French team here, but I would expect a France win. Then after that we have the United Kingdom taking on Germany. This should be a fairly close game. On paper United Kingdom are better, but Germany are quite capable of bringing us a show. So this could be a really interesting game. It's a big tester for the United Kingdom, and it's a game that Germany really need to win if they want hopes of qualifying to BlizzCon. I know we're only 2 games in, but you've got to look at the bigger picture. That is a game that Germany kind of need to win. After that we have what we could call 2 minnows. Now minnows is a loose term I'm using there, because I don't think any of these teams are minnows, but it's Poland versus Italy. 2 teams that are not expected to qualify. But you never know. Poland taking on Italy, I'd expect Italy to beat Poland but it could be a 5-mapper. It should be fairly close. After that we have Germany taking on the Netherlands. Now this is another match that Germany need to win if they want to qualify for BlizzCon. If Germany go 2-0 on the first day, they're looking very, very good. That would be big for Germany if they go 2-0 on the first day. But there's a lot to ask. They're going up against a very good team in the United Kingdom and another very good team in the Netherlands. But they could do it. We don't know. Then after that we have the United Kingdom in action again against Poland. Again, you look at the players on the rosters, you would expect United Kingdom to win this. But Poland could cause an upset. They're an unknown entity as of right now. They could bring anything to the table. And if anything, European Overwatch can tend to be a bit more tank heavy and a bit weirder to watch than more NA and Korean Overwatch is. So if you've ever compared European contenders to NA contenders, it's very different. European Overwatch can be very tank heavy. So it should be really interesting. But there's some really good DPS players that could be on show here, so I don't want to see tank heavy comps. I want to see DPS people popping off. Kib, Soon, AKM, I want to see them doing work. Anyway, that's day 1. Moving on to the next day, 22nd of September, which is a Saturday. The start times are actually a bit later, so 2 hours later. So that's 3 AM PDT, which is about 11 AM on a Saturday. If you're in the UK, and midday in Europe, you will have the next batch of fixtures. The first one is France taking on Germany. Now this is another interesting game. This depends heavily on how the previous games have gone, I think. If Germany have failed to beat either United Kingdom or the Netherlands, then Germany I think will struggle against France, providing France bring to the table what they think they're going to bring to the table, which you never know. I refer back to Sweden again. So I would expect a France victory here, but Germany are a team that are never to be underestimated. The Netherlands will take on Italy after this again. This could be quite close, but I would expect the Netherlands to edge it. After that, Germany are back in action against Poland. This should be a Germany win, I think. I think Germany are a better team than Poland. But again, you don't know. Poland, as I keep going on about, are an unknown entity. We don't know what they're going to bring to the table. They could just storm the entire group like China did. Who knows? France will then take on Italy. This should be a French win. I think the French are a better team than Italy. If Italy were to beat France here, I would nail it down as a shock. But I would expect a France win. And then the last game of that day will be the Netherlands taking on the United Kingdom. Again, I use this phrase a lot, but on paper, the United Kingdom are a better team, but you cannot underestimate teams that you don't know. That's the key with these qualifiers. You go in and you really don't know some of these teams. You don't know what they're going to bring to the table. They could bring some really unorthodox comp that these teams might just not know how to beat, and can't adjust quick enough to beat in the comp. And if that happens, they could storm the blooming group, and we could have a really unexpected team in those finals at BlizzCon. But again, on paper, I would go for United Kingdom victory over the Netherlands. The last day is the Sunday, starting at the same time, 3 AM PDT, around 11 AM BST, around midday in Europe. Italy will take on Germany. Again, this could be quite a crucial game for Germany at this stage, but we don't know what these two teams might have to offer, but I would expect Germany to pip that slightly. France taking on Poland. At this point, France could already be qualified, but you never know. But I would expect France to beat Poland, because on paper, that would be the best team against the worst team, but you don't know what these teams are bringing to the table right now, apart from perhaps France or the United Kingdom, because they have players we know about that have played in Contenders and the Overwatch League, so they could bring anything. After that, Italy will take on the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom, this could be a really crucial game for them in the terms of their qualification for BlizzCon. Italy could also be a crucial game for Italy if they manage to pull off some surprise wins against Germany. If Italy beat Germany earlier in the day and they've got a decent record leading into that match, then, you know, it could be Italy's to lose against the United Kingdom. But I would expect the United Kingdom to win that. Poland taking on the Netherlands. Now, this game, I would expect to be a dead rubber at this point. I'm not expecting the Netherlands or Poland to be in a fight to qualify for BlizzCon. But you never know. I'm covering myself heavily because my predictions were wrong in Thailand. So you never know what these teams might bring to the table. But the last game is, on paper, the blockbuster game of the whole weekend. France taking on the United Kingdom. Arguably the two best teams. At this point, both teams might already be qualified. But you don't know that. This might be a boom or bust moment for either team on whether they go to BlizzCon or not. And to be quite honest, I never know whether to trust the UK team or not. So I'm not actually going to say the sentence I was going to say. But it could be a boom or bust moment for one of these teams. Undoubtedly, it will be a blooming good game. It's set up much like the Canada-USA game was in LA, where we have that blockbuster game being the last game of the week. So we don't know. By this time we might already have our two qualifiers for BlizzCon, and it may just be a game that just goes crazy. But if it is a high stakes on the line game, then boy, you are going to see some Overwatch, I'm sure of it. Because if there's one thing the United Kingdom did do in the qualifiers last year, and that was bring us some good Overwatch. And, you know, I want to see it. Obviously I want to see it. That's a bit of a stupid statement, really. But those are the fixtures, right? Those are the fixtures. And this is the last qualifier. So this is the last two teams. It should be really interesting. I really don't know what some of these teams are going to bring to the table. Germany were big back 2 years ago. They've fallen off more recently, but some of these players are unknowns. The whole Polish team are not assigned. A lot of the German team aren't assigned. A lot of the Italian team aren't assigned. So we don't know what they're bringing to the table. So they could blow our minds with some crazy comp that these bigger, on paper, bigger teams can't beat. And if that happens, then they could storm the group and we could see someone crazy like Poland or Italy at BlizzCon, which is something we haven't really seen yet. Predictions will heavily flow in favour of France and the United Kingdom currently, I would expect, but there are possibilities for upsets here. It is a lot closer than the first two qualifiers. The first two qualifiers in South Korea and in LA were heavily predictable in terms of Canada and the USA dominating the LA qualifiers and South Korea and Finland dominating the South Korean qualifiers. We kind of expected that. Thailand shows you a different side on that. That was completely open. We didn't really know who was going to qualify. We ended up getting in my opinion, an upset with Sweden not going through. And this could be the same. This really could be the same. This is more open than the first two qualifiers, but I think it's slightly less open than the qualifier in Thailand. But you never know. And I'm going to keep saying that until I know. So I never know what teams to trust at times. I had a lot of hope going into the 2017 finals with the UK Overwatch team, and they did nothing. So anyway, moving on from that, that is the last preview for these qualifiers. I will be back with the results next week, and that will finish us up for the Overwatch World Cup qualifiers in 2018. And that will then be the long wait until BlizzCon in the first week of November, when we will have the finals and all the grandeur of the Blizzard Arena. And then, after that, the Overwatch League hype begins with 8 new teams. So all these players out there have got something to prove to those 8 new teams and the teams that are looking for new rosters. Hey, I want to get picked up. I want to be an Overwatch League player. But you've got to show your quality first. And that's why these games are going to be so interesting. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you'd like to give a like, subscribe if you're new. And I will see you in the next video. See you then.